Oh, there we are. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me rotate my camera stand. It's not cooperating.
Yeah. Look how beautiful your tree is. Oh,
Thanks. Normally, I have Halloween. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I'm trying to
it's
put this in the
okay.
stand and it's on the charger. A hot
That's
mess
all
this
right.
morning.
That's all right.
All right. So
Yay.
normally, I have Halloween down and Christmas up. The night after Halloween, it's all down. And then November 1st, Christmas is up. And I told my husband, I'm like, if it's not all up by Thanksgiving, like, this is all we're getting. And this is it. Like,
That's it.
I'll have my son, like, we'll decorate it together with the ornaments, but
Yeah, it's so cute. Listen, I loved your pre-podcast drink stash post. Like,
thanks.
I'm dying because it's like, here's my electrolytes, my God. It's like, same.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Cassandra, thank you so much for agreeing to invest in you and your strengths and take the Clifton Strengths assessment. Like, I'm so excited to talk about your strengths today and celebrate you. And I want to start by you just giving us a quick overview of what you get paid to do and what you're passionate about.
Okay. So, what I get paid to do is to train people and make them cry and love me at the same time.
Sounds accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm a certified personal trainer and kind of down this new venture of the online world.
Mm-hmm.
And I love investing in people and I love to help people come to the realization of what they are capable of,
Mm-hmm.
physically, but also emotionally, mentally.
Yeah, yeah. And so you have your own business, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes.
How that
So,
started?
um, how far of a backstory do you want?
As much as you want to give. Yeah, so I'm really interested in from moment of the idea you had to where you are now.
Okay. Sorry, all the alarms.
It's
Um,
like,
so where the idea kind of sprang from was just it was years ago, really. Whenever I reflect and kind of look back at my journaling and my notes of like overall dreams and like would like to do one day's
mm-hmm.
list, um, is I've always wanted to be able to help people to find their fitness. So in 2019 is whenever I got my certification and I onboarded as an operations manager for a local gym and absolutely love the process of that. Um, and then kind of still in the back of my head was just like, this would be really cool, online. You can only help so many people in person. And
Mm-hmm.
really, so a lot of my background is in the group training because that's what I am most familiar with. So kind of branching out and growing and it's very exciting. So fast forward to November of this year, 2025. Um, I did my very first bodybuilding competition. And I was just wanting to get a few feelers of like, you know what? I'm at a place where I can comfortably take on some clients. It wouldn't really affect my training schedule as it is because I still do the group fitness thing. I was like, let me just give this a trial run. So I posted on my Facebook that I was offering three 8-week programs
Mm-hmm.
to be my guinea pig, so to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
in return, they would give me feedback of my online programming, the nutrition
Mm-hmm.
aspect, as well as the workout programming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Within the hour of posting that, so a lot of people had also seen kind of my more recent physical transformation with the bodybuilding show, and
Mm-hmm.
like everybody sees that and they're like, oh, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had over 70 inquiries within the hour of like all these people
Yeah.
wanting this program that I haven't even launched yet. Almost like,
Yeah.
okay, so I need to be serious about this. It kind of pushed me past like that
Yeah.
barrier that I was inflicting
Yeah.
on myself
Yeah.
and kind of pushing through the barriers through there. So as soon as I saw that happening, I'm like, okay, let me actually do some research. Let me look into some apps. Let me look into, what it's going to cost. So
Mhm.
within that week, we had insurance, we had our LLC, and we had
Yeah.
everything, like all the ducks getting in a row. And now I have my first 5 paid clients.
Yay,
And it is, thank
congratulations.
you. It is now, what is the date? December 2nd. So it hasn't even been a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the name of your company? So if people are watching or listening to this podcast and they want to learn more about you and your company and what you offer, how can they find you?
Okay, the easiest way is going to be on Instagram under Kassandra Garner. It's with
Okay.
bleh, bleh, can't even say my own name. It's Kassandra with a K, or to search KPG. No, yep. Wow, I'm doing
It's
great.
it's okay. It's okay. Report.
KGPT. So it stands for
Okay.
Kassandra Garner Personal Training.
Okay.
Um, Funny thing with that, whenever the name came about, I'd already made the logo and everything, and my
Mhm.
husband's like, what do you have to do with AI? Because he's like, K GPT.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, it is online, so
Hey,
there's that.
yeah, there's that. Oh, I love it. Well, so I just am listening to your story and you talking about your journey as an entrepreneur and knowing your strengths because unlike our listeners, I've had a sneak peek at your assessment and your top 5 and your report. So I want to share with our listeners or viewers your top 5 Clifton strengths. And I think as we talk about them, as we name what those strengths are, and then I'm going to ask you to claim those by telling stories. And I think that our listeners and viewers will be able to connect the dots pretty quickly on these strengths showing up for you because I was able to hear them pretty quickly in your stories. So for our listeners and our viewers, your top 5 Clifton strengths are futuristic, developer, empathy, arranger, and relator. And so now we are going to name those strengths. And I'm going to do that by giving you just a very short snippet of the Clifton Strength definition of that. And after I do that, I'm going to ask for you to claim that by telling me a story where you've seen that in your life as an entrepreneur building this business. So for futuristic, a little snippet of the Clifton Strengths definition is that you inspire and energize others with a vision of what could be. So can you claim that strength of futuristic by telling me a short story of when you have been an inspiration or a source of energy for others and a vision of what could be?
Absolutely. I mean, that aligns exactly with what I already do. At the
Yeah.
individual level,
Mhm.
like I have a lot of like with my clients one-on-one, really seeing how far that they can go. But on bigger picture, recently with that gym that I was the operations manager, we had lofty goals,
Mhm.
and I was able to set those. And um, my boss at the time too, she was more of the delegator and the organizer, and I was definitely the visionary of like, no, we're
Mhm.
gonna get to this number and we're gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So moving on to developer. So a little snippet definition in Clifton Strength words is a developer can cultivate potential in others and can find signs of small improvement. When you see someone making progress, you're like really good at picking out even the smallest improvement. So I'm just smiling because I can already think of like 5 different ways to claim this in a story for you, but what story would you pick to claim that strength, how that's shown up for you?
I would say that one really shows up in the day-to-day training, like that
Mhm.
one-on-one setting of knowing, very physical example of picking up a heavier weight, um,
Mhm.
and knowing, okay, that person did that last week and it was nothing. I'm bringing this to you. I know you can do it. You might not know
Mhm.
that you can do it yet, but I know you can do it. Here it is.
You had your trainer voice on there.
I did. I did for a second there.
All right. So next, so your third Clifton strength is empathy. And so someone with empathy has this instinctive ability to understand people, feel the emotions that other people are feeling. So can you claim that by telling a story of when that's been true for you in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. One part that was really challenging was telling some people no.
Mm,
Um, because the stories, like, if you cry, I'm gonna cry. uh,
yeah.
that's definitely the level of empathy and knowing the impact that um, nutrition and accountability have for people, um, and just being able to find that connection and that relatability with people too.
Hmm.
Um, I, someone can walk in a room and I can definitely tell what they're feeling. Can't explain it,
Hmm.
but they'll come in and I can feel whatever they're bringing in, if it's heavy, if it's light, if it's
Hmm.
whatever it is. I can definitely feel it and feed off of it. And if they're in a funk, feeling it, but trying to pull them out and not letting myself go into the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a very mature empathy strength that you have right there. All right. Moving into a ranger. Now, a ranger is about not just being organized, but being flexible. And you also enjoy figuring out how to align people and resources. So, can you claim that by telling a story of when that's been true for you?
Yes. Again, with the programming, we're going to tie it all in with what's current. There was a potential client who was checking off all of these boxes and really just kind of misaligning with kind of what my training and my training style is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not that I can't grow and develop and work with this person, but really realizing, like, you know what, to be fully transparent, I really think that this person, this other coach, is a much better fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to, facilitate that and connect it. I'm all about transparency. And if something's not
Mm-hmm.
working, we got to fix it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love that you're looking like I am a resource, but I know I'm not the only resource. And your developer, your empathy, all your strengths coming together to say, if I don't feel like I'm the good fit, I'm not going to just leave you on your own, but we will connect you with what works for you. Yeah. I hear a lot of your strengths coming together on that one for sure. And that brings us to relator, which not a surprise to me. But you enjoy close relationships and deep satisfaction with working with friends to achieve goals. So can you talk a little bit, and we don't need names, but you can talk a little bit about how your relator strength, the connections that help you make decisions, get where you are. Story about that.
Yeah. So on the outside looking in, most people would assume that I'm very extroverted. I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely not. I can be when I need to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm much more introverted. So that close knit circle plays a huge key role in my day to day,
Mm-hmm.
and having those relationships, because at the end of the day, the relationship is more important to me than other outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, i- is that kind of, am I going in the
Yeah.
right
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
track
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, and so background on that. So I usually like to compare two strengths, which is relator and woo. So people who have woo, they walk into a room, they're gonna woo everyone in that room over. They're gonna know something about everyone in that room. Whereas a relator is gonna show up to a party because there's someone there or they came with someone that event is important to them. Relator is more about deep relationships. You don't want to hop around and know about everyone. You want to sit with somebody and really go on a deep dive about them, why they're there, all of that. So I definitely see that, that story supporting your relator strength. And curious, so out of your top five, so again, futuristic, developer, empathy, arranger, relator, were there any that you were surprised by? Like, that doesn't sound like me at all.
Not really.
No. Which of your top five do you think is showing up for you the most right now? Is the one that you're leaning on the most out of those five? So is it your futuristic, developer, empathy, arranger, relator? Which one do you think you lean on the most right now?
Currently, definitely the futuristic, because
Mm-hmm.
of building this brand. And I'm in that phase of my goal setting for the following year. We're going into
Mm-hmm.
that new year. So really having that futuristic goal set and trying to break down the smaller pieces, which is more challenging for me.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Having that, the smaller steps, I'm usually just an all or nothing
Mm.
kind of person. So baby steps are really hard for me because I'm just like, just go.
Just go.
Um, yeah,
Let's just get it
my
done.
friends will tell you that like
Yeah.
once I take something on, it's almost like a hyperfixation for a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's like complete 100%. I'm very extra.
Yeah. So do you know, and it's okay if you don't, but do you know, because each Clifton Strength lives in a leadership domain. So there's 34 Clifton Strengths total, and all of those are grouped into leadership domains. And so you have three of your strengths, so developer, empathy, and relator, all live in the relationship building domain. So if there is a relationship to build, you have three of your top 5 strengths that come naturally to you that allow you to do that, right? Futuristic is a strategic thinking strength. So that's the leadership domain that leads in. So if a map needs to be made, your compass, like that is your futuristic. And so I'm going to challenge you after this coaching session to pair your futuristic, your strategic thinking with your one executing strength, which is a ranger. So a ranger lives in that execution domain. And so that's the strength that shows up for you that allows you to get things done, right? And so if you pair your futuristic with that that energy you have about that vision with your arranger, which this has already happened, right? So you're already doing this, but now we're putting these words to it. And so I challenge you to take notice of when your futuristic is on fire and you have all these plans and you have this vision, right? And then notice when that arranger steps in and says, but who do we have? What do we have? How are we going to connect all these dots to get there, right? And I think it's, when you start putting names to these strengths, you'll see them in action more and you can actually name what's happening. I know, like, as an entrepreneur, it takes grit. There's grit involved, right? Resiliency, grit, you have that for sure, without a doubt. And so my hope for you is that even in those challenging moments where things seem like it can seem like chaos sometimes, and what I think you've done an excellent job is structuring this chaos into something that is energizing for you, developing you. So what I want to applaud is the fact that you have used your top 5 strengths, a lot of them that are relationship building and about building other people up. You talked about that moment where you're just like, I'm going to do this for myself. And I think that is a pivotal moment when you decide, I have these strengths, I have this ability, and I've been shining it to the world. And now I'm going to shine it into myself and like let my light shine. And I think that's amazing. And so, you told 5 different stories today about where your strengths have shown up for you. I'm very excited for you to recognize these strengths as you move on and like kind of call them out for yourself, like, oh, that's my futuristic. And if I want that vision to be accomplished, like, how's my arranger going to help me? And there's a lot of different tools out there that CliftonStrengths has. There's videos, there's all sorts of ways you can go about it. But honestly, I think that claiming these in your own words, like, we have the definitions, you have your full report. And what's really cool, if you go back and look at your report, and when you're scrolling down, and it will give you the strengths. It'll say futuristic, and then it'll say what is futuristic, and it gives you that paragraph that is in CliftonStrengths words. But then when you scroll down, the report actually highlights. If you see, like, for futuristic, it's a green highlight, it's going to highlight in green, and those are specifically how futuristic shows up for you. So that's not a generic definition. That is how futuristic shows up for you. So I would definitely encourage you to start by looking at the highlighted areas in your report of futuristic and of arranger, and try to call those out like during your day and see how those are pairing up to help you in your next goal that you have.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. And I'm super
Yeah.
excited. It was so challenging not to open that email and look at it. I'm like, no, we have to do this live. We have to talk about it. We're not going to open it. I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to open
Right?
it.
I mean, the self-control that I had to have not to just dive in and like, because I have learner in my top 5 and input. So I'm constantly gathering information and learn. And it's like, yeah. So kudos to us for having some self-control. I
Yay.
do want to share that you and I both have a ranger. So a ranger is not my top 5, but it is my 6th. And I will say, it's one of my favorites. It's absolutely one of my favorites. So I have strategic thinking in my top 5. And what I thought was strategic thinking for a long time showing up for me was actually my arranger, the more that I learned. So strategic thinking is more like I can see we have a path. I can see 10 of them. Like we're, sometimes, in teams for paid, unpaid work, like, I don't know how we're going to do this. And I'm like, I see 10 ways we could do this. They're not right or wrong. But my arranger is the part that shows me how. So not only do I see those 10 doors, but my arranger steps in and says, and this is how we can go through each one. Do we have the resources, the better resources to accomplish 1 versus 9 versus 7? And that energizes me. Whereas on other teams, paid or unpaid work, that process of narrowing down the path you're going to go on can just like suck the life out of it can. But for me, that energizes me. And I definitely see in some circumstances where people would be discouraged or, lose motivation. Like there's definitely stories. I know that you have a ton of stories that you can reflect on that you're going to build where you can claim these strengths and bring value and bring these paths and bring this discovery for other people. And I'm so excited to see where it all goes. Like it's already a success, but I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. And then I do want to, oh yeah, and do you have any, I have a couple more questions, but before those, do you have any questions for me about your strengths or moving
Not off the
forward?
top of my head.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm really curious to see, like, visually see the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And like as you're talking, like I have uh instances in my mind, especially like with the arranger, now that you're like going more in depth and pointing it out. Because my planning goes like 1,000 miles a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be mid sentence with my husband. It drives him nuts. And I'll be like, oh, we could do that. Oh, wait, no, that won't work because I got to wait.
Can't wait for you to read. I cannot wait for you to read the highlighted breakdown of like your strength showing up for you, because even as you're talking, I'm like, oh, self-control. Because I'm like, oh, well, it says this about your futuristic. So I'm like, oh, but I'm going to let you discover that for yourself. And then we can talk about it, because I think you're going to have a couple giggles. Because even what you just said, just knowing what your futuristic highlights are, it's just almost verbatim, which is funny.
That's funny.
So I'm
Some
excited
aha
about that.
moments
And
coming.
yeah, but I also think that, strengths worth too is, you know, I definitely want to squash any idea that strength work is, and I say strength work because I use strengths in my personal life, my professional life. So I really have this strength-based wellness approach to Hello Strengths and like what I do. And so I do want to squash that it's not about overlooking weaknesses. It's not about ignoring things that are going wrong. So, I mean, positive psychology and strength-based approach is about focusing on what's right and putting and investing time and interest in what's right with you. That's why I love it. It doesn't mean that you ignore pain points, right? It's the exact opposite. And your strengths can actually be your weaknesses. And you have described that. So what you're talking about, if there are relationships, whether they're personal or professional, there's relationships that are just off kilter. They're not working out for some reason, right? Or just these little like discrepancies. You're like, what is going on? It's possible. It's possible that your empathy, right, could what we call be in the basement. When your empathy's in the light, it's serving you well. If it's in the basement, it's not serving you well. And you describe that too. Like if I'm working with a client and I can feel that this is just not the right fit, a mature empathy recognizes that and says, hey, this is not working and we need to find another option. So I think as it's really important as you discover more about yourself and your strengths and you have this language, sharing that language, with people around you whose opinions you value and saying, hey, can you tell me a story about a time where you've seen this futuristic strength in me? And I'm telling you, like the stories and how people, I mean, it's definitely worth it. So definitely share these strengths with people who you value their opinion. And you can ask them, hey, is there any time that my arranger gets in the way? Is there any time that my relator gets in the way or my developer? For example, with positivity, I have positivity in my top 5, and I genuinely find and see things to celebrate no matter how small they are, and I genuinely mean it, to a point where some people are like, that's not possible. Like that's like you're not a genuine person. That's fake. I'm like, it's
Oh,
it's actually like it's actually sincere. But there are times when, people aren't looking for positivity. They want to sit in something that they don't want to see the way forward yet. They don't want to be like they just need time, right? So strength work it's a courageous practice, I think. And so I have a couple more questions for you, but I do, before I ask the questions, I just want to applaud you for your courage and for doing this. And yeah. Okay. So, and I'm like, yeah, I'm also looking at the clock too. I'm trying to be respectful of your time because I could sit here and talk with you for hours. So,
totally fine.
okay. So, ooh, okay. Ooh. All right. Well, here's one. Oh, I think this like pairs well. So, what do you struggle with as an entrepreneur that you'd like to learn more about or get better at? And how do you think your strengths could help you? Like being an entrepreneur sounds fancy and fun and like, ooh, but what are the parts about entrepreneurship that you're like, I need to get better at this?
Well, a generic but truthful answer would be um, time management. I'm good with
Mm,
other areas, and as an employee, I'm good with time management and
mm-hmm,
time blocking and boundaries. But right now, it's very absent.
mm-hmm. Samesies. As an entrepreneur, I will say like I struggle with time management because I want to be in the creative space at all times. I love being in that creative space. And then the execution is required. So I really do lean on my arranger. Like I physically like I will out loud talk to my arranger sometimes when I'm like in Canva and I've been in Canva for like an hour and I have to be like, okay, arranger, I need you to step in and like tell me something needs to get done. And what I love about that is your developer, when you're speaking with me and in preparation for this podcast, you even were helping me set timelines and goals for things that I wanted to do for my own company. So I think that, yeah, so I think you have an awareness. And I think with that awareness and being able to like lean into these other strengths, I think you'll be good with that. Yeah. All right. Let me do, gosh, I want all of them. All right. So now this is a time where I really want you to celebrate yourself and your strengths and tell me a time, something about being an entrepreneur that you feel you just do really well. You're like, wow, I do this really well.
Hmm. I would say the going for it.
Mm, yeah.
Once I'm in on something, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially in the entrepreneurial space, it's almost mandatory of being all in. Like you can't second guess
Hmm.
yourself or your decisions. I mean, you can step back and take an objective, account for everything and kind of having that step back moment. But um, I think just that all in wanting to consume everything that you can about this field or whatever the case is, um, getting stuff off the ground. I'm great at that. It's
Hmm.
it's the follow through for me that's like,
Yeah.
but
And all those other ideas keep going. So it's
yes.
like, yeah. Oh. All right. Well, I want to be respectful of your time, so we are going to wrap things up. And I want to say thank you to you and your strengths, which are futuristic, developer, empathy, arranger, and relator. Again, my challenge for you is to, one, go back and look at your report, specifically the highlighted areas for each of your strengths. Share what you've learned about yourself, your strengths with others who you value and trust. And then also take a real good look at trying to catch your futuristic and your arranger and when those show up for you. Because it sounds like you have some goals ahead of you and you have wonderful vision for what you hope things are. And I think your arranger can definitely step in and help you get there. So
Awesome.
yay.
Well,
And
thank
then
you so much.
and hopefully we'll have you back in a little while and you can update us on all the wonderful things you've accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been
Yeah.
very eye-opening and insightful.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.